Okay, so we are going to talk Disney on a teacher budget. I want to preface this with a couple I want to preface this with a couple of thoughts that I have like right out of the gate. So, I think it's very important to let you know that I am nowhere, not even close in the same vicinity as being a Disney expert. This was my first trip to Disney World. I went to Disneyland when I was, I think, 19 years old with my he was my then boyfriend, but now we're married. So we went to Disneyland as like college kids because we lived in Arizona. It was like a quick 7-hour drive. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. I don't do the Disney thing. I don't I don't do it. I've never been to Florida. So this is all just me sharing things that I was glad that happened. So some things that I'm glad did happen, some things that I wish I would have known about sooner. And I'm just going to do it all in one very casual conversation. I'm not in this whole like YouTube creation to benefit in any way. It's literally just me sharing like things that worked, things that didn't, things I wish I would have known. And also know that all of this is very nuanced. So what I experience as awesome, you might experience as terrible. It just really kind of depends. I also think it's worth noting that my family and we have a very strict I got tummy probs. So I am gluten-free and my whole family is plant-based. So same exact thing when I start talking about restaurants and food, take that with a grain of salt, knowing that I was looking for a very specific style of food. And then the third caveat before we dive into the content of just Disney on a teacher budget and things that I'm glad that happened and things that I wish would have happened sooner, please know that I was there for a conference. And so the hotel that I stayed at was a complete accident. We loved the hotel. I'm super glad that we stayed there, but know that where you stay is also going to make a huge difference in accessibility to different parks. So we stayed at the Dolphin. There are in Disney World, you've got Magic Kingdom, which is kind of like at the top, right? Then below there, you've kind of got Animal Kingdom that's kind of off to the side right here. Then you've got Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Epcot and Hollywood Studios are very close together, and our hotel was kind of dropped right there by Epcot and by Hollywood Studios. And that matters because how I'm going to explain to you how we worked the park system. It all is relative to where the parks and where our hotel were located. So let's just dive right in. If you don't know who I am, my name is Brianna. Probably should have started with that. I am a teacher here in Texas, and this summer I spoke at an education conference in Florida. So I decided to bring my family of 5 with me to this conference to enjoy Disney World because I was already going there for the conference. Why not just kind of maximize everything and say, okay, let's just dive right in. We flew Southwest. I ended up buying and using points for flights. So that saved us some money there. I've never really done the whole points thing. So that was actually really beneficial. We decided Southwest because I knew that luggage was going to be something high on my priority list. I am a big fan of packing things to bring with, and you'll kind of see that with what I brought and why I brought those things. We actually had an entire suitcase dedicated to things that I bought on Amazon, knowing the temperature, knowing the climate, knowing the food situations and all of that. Another thing is we normally stay at Airbnbs for access to a kitchen because my dietary restrictions are so severe, but we decided the hotel because they gave great discounts. So that's kind of one little tip that I have for you is call the concierge service of the hotels and ask, do you offer any discounts? They ended up giving my mom a senior citizen discount because it's her birthday at the end of the month. And that took off like a solid 25%. I think it was 25% off of the hotel stay, which ended up being a good chunk of money. And they also, different areas of Disney also gave me teacher discounts. I'm not used to that. Like I'm used to other types of discounts, but never an educator discount. And a lot of restaurants, a lot of shops gave me a teacher discount. So I think it's worth just asking for, right? So let's talk about what I packed. So all the pre-packing stuff. So after this video, I'm going to link like a little one pager because I know that this is going to be a ton of information just flowing out of my mouth, and you might be rapidly writing notes, and I don't want to stress anybody out. So please make sure that you go to the comment section and get that little one pager. It's like a little checklist that I just thought of while we were on our way home from the airport. So what I bought on Amazon. I bought on Amazon sunscreen, sanitary wipes. I also bought snacks. I also bought liquid IV or a hydration supplement, ponchos for everybody, UVA, UVB hats, air tag holders, cooling towels and neck fans, and then holistic support supplements and medications. I have a list of all the stuff that I bought, and I want to give some rationale behind it. Some stuff is very, obvious. Sunscreen. It's really sunny in Florida. Like, it might be humid AF, but it is also super, super sunny. Another thing is sanitary wipes. I'm not a big germ person. Like, I love my kids getting dirty and like, I love all that stuff, but bring some wipes, okay? Bring some wipes. Snacks. Let's talk about snacks. I specifically did a lot of like complete protein bar snacks. I love Go Macro. So I bought like 2 boxes of Go Macro bars. I also found some bars that I really like on Amazon called Belly Welly. They are low FODMAP. So just if you have digestive distress, if you get like traveler's tummy or motion sickness, they're just a really, really nice bar that doesn't upset the belly very easily. So I brought those. I got, my kids love like they're called Giggles. It's like a Skittles knockoff basically. So I bought Giggles. I got pretzels. I did pretty much all the Costco based like prepackaged processed snacks. I brought those with in the suitcase, and we ended up eating all of them. All of them. I highly suggest you bring snacks. Even if you love to like, even if the food, eating out and all that stuff is high on your priority list, like it's not high on our priority list because I have dietary restrictions, but even if it's high on your priority list, you'd be surprised how expensive it is in Disney to eat. And so just having options of snacks is so helpful. Liquid IV hydration supplements. Even people, my family and I are very active, very, very active. I am a professional fitness instructor. My husband is a semi-professional competitive athlete. We exercise a lot. Just the concept of being in the heat, being out in the sun, walking for 10 to 12 hours a day, even if your body is used to high levels of activity, you would be so shocked with how much sweat happens. And in sweat, you lose salt. And when you lose salt, that's what kind of triggers that dehydration. Liquid IV is a very, very popular product, but it does have quite a bit of sugar in there. So if you stay away from sugar, you can get something like Celsius. Celsius packets do something similar, but without the sugar. I wanted the sugar because I'm a high salt sweater. So I knew that that wasn't going to bother me, and it actually didn't even upset my tummy. We started off our day. I would wake up in the morning and I would do 12 ounces of water with a liquid IV supplement in there. And immediately, I mean, I'm talking like you kind of wake up and you're stiff and your head kind of hurts a little bit. You've been out in the sun all day. You've been walking, you've been riding rides. You've been eating foods that you don't normally eat. Your kids are crazy. You're crazy. Everybody's crazy. You wake up groggy, you wake up tight, you wake up tense. Sometimes this kind of immediately gives the body that little jolt. Now it is sugar, so it's like that jolt, but there's also other vitamins and supplements that come along and carry it with. I ended up drinking 2 of those a day, one midday and then one in the morning. Ponchos, it rains a ton. And when it rains, the park doesn't stop. The park doesn't close. They might close some rides down temporarily. They might close ferries down or boats down temporarily because of lightning or whatever. But for the most part, people just kind of take cover and then they continue on with their day. There's not a lot of coverage in Disney World that we realized. We had a really bad storm when we were in Animal Kingdom. there's not a lot of coverage where we were. So there was like a bunch of us families just all kind of hunched together underneath this little canopy thing. Highly recommend reusable ponchos. I got one for everybody. We used them every single day that we were there. UVA, UVB hats, just because I'm super sensitive about the sun and also just sun poisoning and being predispositioned to skin cancer. I got my kids and I a UVA, UVB protected hat. And I really think it made a huge difference when it came to headaches. We didn't get any headaches at all. And so I just think that better safe than sorry when it comes to that kind of stuff. AirTag holders. At Costco, you can buy little Apple AirTags. And if you don't know what an AirTag is, it's like a little circular thing that's basically a tracker. And on Amazon, they've got little bracelets that you can place that AirTag in there. We AirTagged our children. So you just never know. People are crazy and it's chaos in Disney. So it just made me feel better knowing that they had that tracker in them. I mean, of course, we never let them out of our sight and they were in the stroller almost the whole time, but just having that peace of mind was really, really helpful. We did go in July. So it was approximately 9,000 degrees with 9,000% humidity. Cooling towels and neck fans were game changers. And then holistic support supplements and medications. I'm a big fan of the Genexa brand. It's still traditional over the counter, medicine, different types of like aspirin and things of that nature, but it doesn't have a lot of the fillers or the colors that other brands have. One product that I used every day that I noticed made a huge difference was the motion sickness relief. Even if you're not prone to motion sickness or vertigo, there's a lot of moving pieces that happen when you're on a intense vacation like Disney World. I popped those motion sickness tablets once every like 8 hours or so, and it was really, really great. So that's kind of what I brought with me. What we brought with us, lots of snacks, lots of sunscreen, knowing full well that I was going to come back with less than I arrived with. And I was totally okay with that. We packed, like I said, a full suitcase. Southwest, you get 2 free bags. So we packed a full suitcase of just all of these things, and they all came in handy. Okay. So things I did not know about Disney. Let's go to things I did not know. Surrounding hotels and Disney themed hotels run a free bus and or boat transfer system. Like I said in the beginning of the video, we stayed at the Dolphin, which is like the Dolphin Swan Reserve. It's not a Disney hotel, but it's in that vicinity. And what's great is the transportation systems between the parks, but also between the hotels, it is not as complicated as you think. When you first arrive, it looks very daunting because there's like a bus station and there's like signs and all, but I promise you, it is not intimidating whatsoever. We also did not realize that the ferry system is also super transfer friendly. Another thing that I did not know was most restaurants have an allergy menu. You just have to ask for one. Also, get the Disney Experience app. They'll tell you that 1,000 times, and you might be like me and being like, do I really, really need that? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And let me tell you why. Everything is available to you in that Disney Experience app. And you can call the 1-800 number associated with it. The customer service people are phenomenal. They linked all of the adult accounts on there. So it was great because like Matt could be at one park and I could be at another, but we're still working off of the same app. There's also maps embedded in the Disney Experience app, which I used a lot. Just me being a person that's very type A, like we were going from one ride to the next because we got the Lightning Pass, which I'll talk about here in just a second. But it's confusing. Like it is so confusing with where you go and landmarks. The map that's embedded in the Disney Experience app is really, really good. It took me a few days to realize, and I'm not proud of this, but it took me a few days to realize that there's even a little pointer when you're on the map that is you. So sometimes you're like, okay, am I going up or am I going down? Am I going north or am I going south? Am I going east? Am I going west? Like what's going on here? But I realized like 2 days in that the circle, which is me, right? It's like tracking my location, tracking our location. When I turn my phone, the pointer moves. So that's how you know, do I go right? Do I go left? Do I go north? Do I go south? It might be super obvious to some people, but it was not super obvious to me because I didn't even see the arrow. So it's worth me sharing with you there. Also, the surrounding hotels, a lot of them provide free water bottles. Did not know that until like day 3. Had no clue that I could call the front desk and get just Dasani water bottles for free. They also offer a lot of discounts, like I said in the beginning. I got a teacher discount a lot of the time. My mom got a senior citizen discount because she booked one of the rooms. It is definitely worth asking about. Okay, so let's go to things I wish I did sooner or things that I wish I brought. So I wish I would have made dinner reservations early, like 5 p.m. early. Because my family runs on such a strict dietary restriction, it did not even cross my mind to really make dinner reservations. Even though all of our Disney friends were like, make dinner reservations. We were like, yeah, but you know, Brianna can't eat like basically anything and we ended up waiting at restaurants for hours, just because the little like food shacks around did not have as much food as one would have thought. And what I mean by that is like, you know, think of like a food court at the mall. You got like your restaurants, right? But then you've also got just like food court places, like fast food or whatever. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we don't need to sit down at a restaurant to eat, especially if we're doing this on a budget. Like we all know restaurants are much more expensive than just running up somewhere, grabbing something and going. However, the little food kiosks, in my personal opinion, were not as good as I thought they were going to be. I thought I was going to be able to get, you know, some fruit or you know what I mean? Like some vegetables, I'm gluten-free, so I can't have like pretzels or anything like that. But really it was like Mickey pretzels, popcorn, and then like ice cream. Like it was stuff that not only do I not eat, but that I can't eat. And so we ended up having to kind of go to these restaurants because they had allergy menus. And because we made reservations late or because we waited, we did not eat very well in Disney. So that's kind of really sad because I know a lot of people have great experiences when it comes to eating at Disney restaurants, especially even my allergy friends. Like, oh, the chef will come talk to you and blah, blah, blah. That was not my experience. My experience was waiting forever, people being super like behind and irritable about like, I need a gluten-free menu. Like, I'm sorry, the chef has to come talk to you. I was like, I don't need to see the chef. Just make sure it's gluten-free. Like it was a lot. So on the Disney Experience app, you can make dinner reservations. You can also pull up the menus there and you can communicate with the hostess via that Disney Experience app as well. Another thing I wish I would have known sooner is budget the lightning pass for all parks every single day. I don't like to wait in line. I don't like to waste my time. And I have a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old that I was bringing with me. We are not going to be waiting 3 hours to go meet Little Mermaid. It's just not going to happen. Okay, it's just not going to happen. The lightning pass was something that we ended up adding every single day. We did a park hopper, which meant that we could go to, there are 4 Disney parks, right? We could go to, you make reservations at a park in the morning, and then at 2 o'clock, you can go to any park that you want thereafter. You have to wait until 2 o'clock though. So for example, Magic Kingdom from 9 to 2, then we take a bus to Animal Kingdom, then we took a bus to Epcot, and then we took the boat back to the hotel. Because we did the park hopper and we knew that we were going to be going to different parks every single day, we purchased the Genie Pass for all parks. This ended up coming in handy so much. I loved it because you can make reservations for the ride. Now, some caveats here. You can only make a reservation for a ride one at a time. And stay with me, I don't want to lose you. So let's say, I'm going to use some examples, okay? They give you a booking window. Let's say I want to ride the Peter Pan ride in Magic Kingdom. So we open up the Disney Experience app. We've already purchased the lightning passes. I think it was like $50 a person. We already purchased the lightning passes. we go to the Peter Pan app and it tells you, it's very obvious. It tells you, this is how long the line is right now. It was like 90 minutes, 75 minutes. The lightning pass, you can book it at 2 o'clock. So from 2 to 3 p.m. Now it might be only 9 o'clock in the morning, but the lightning pass is not available for Peter Pan until 2 to 3, meaning my family, if we chose that, we could go to Peter Pan starting at 1:55. You can go 5 minutes before, anywhere from 3 p.m. However, if we booked that option, we could not use the lightning pass before we scanned in. So that was something that I did not realize. In my brain, I knew I could only use one lightning pass per set. But if we were waiting hours to use that lightning pass, we couldn't utilize the lightning pass. We just had to stand in line like everybody else, which was also fine. We ended up doing that. So those rides that you're really gunning for, make sure you book those as soon as possible, because the sooner you book them, the second that you scan in, whether you're using the card, they also have these little bracelets, kind of looks like an Apple Watch. You can sync your Disney tickets and all of your lightning passes on this little bracelet, right? As soon as you scan in, whether it's your ID card or it's your bracelet, then you can book the next lightning pass. So what we ended up doing a lot of the time is we would book a ride for something in like, you know, in that time period. There was no rides that we were like, we need to go on this. So we weren't really that picky. So I would book a lightning pass. I would walk my family there. We would scan in. And while we were waiting to be seated on that ride, the wait times are significantly less, by the way, significantly less enough to where I spent $150 extra every day for the lightning pass. While we were waiting to be seated in that ride, I was already booking our family's next adventure, or our next ride. And so that's something I wish I would have known about sooner, because that first day, I didn't really know how to use this lightning pass. I didn't know how to maximize its effects. Another thing I wish I would have done sooner is buy the reusable popcorn bucket. Costs like $18. I mean, it's 2023 right now, so I don't know what it's going to be, you know, if you watch this 6 months from now, but the reusable popcorn bucket is great because it's $2.50 to refill it at any station. And that's all parks. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have brought my own laundry soap, because a lot of the hotels have washers and dryers. It's just nice going back with clean clothes, just a preference of mine. I also wish I would have learned how to walk through the metal detectors. When you walk through the metal detectors at Disney, it clumps the different items together. And so you want to separate them as much as possible. For example, you can pretty much bring anything into the park that you want. Like, obviously not anything dangerous, but like water, snacks, sunscreen. I mean, I wasn't used to that because everybody wants you to buy stuff there. That's not how Disney is. We brought food, snacks, water bottles, all the things. When you walk through the metal detectors, you can have a bag on or a fanny pack or whatever to separate your items as much as possible. So for example, the police officer said, hey, when you walk through these detectors, it clumps the things together. If we can see what they are, we won't pull you to the side and you'll have to wait for a more invasive pat down. So I would separate my water. I had a reusable water bottle. I would have my water bottle up here. I would have my phone here, and then I would have my fanny pack. So I'm kind of walking through like with one hand up, one hand back. Once we learned how to do that, we never got pulled to the side. And being pulled to the side just adds on extra time that you don't really need. And the reusable water bottles were awesome because then you didn't have to buy water bottles in the park. There are lots of water fountains in the park. Another thing I would have wished I've known about is the ferry to Magic Kingdom. When you enter into Magic Kingdom, you can either go straight to the tram, which is like a, you know, a train kind of a thing, right? Or you can go left to the ferry. Now, the ferry looks daunting because you're like, I don't know about this. This is a big boat. Like, this is going to take a while. But the trams get really backed up and they're not that big. So what's nice about the ferry is if you notice the line from the tram going all the way down the ramp, take a left and take the ferry. The ferry ended up being faster for us when that line was all the way down the ramp. The first day, the line wasn't long, so we got there like that. But the second day, when we were kind of getting closer to the weekend, that's when we noticed that those tram lines were getting really long. And so we took the ferry, and it of course took a long time for the ferry to get kind of populated, but it can carry so many more people. Another fun fact, if you take the ferry, when you walk onto the ferry, walk all the way to the front. We stayed at the back thinking that where we entered was going to be where we exited. It's not. The ferry is a very large boat. So when you walk into the ferry, go all the way to the front, because that's where the exit is going to be, and you just get ahead of the lines that way as well. And then one other little caveat, I wish I would have ordered more sides to make my own meals. So kind of going back to the restaurants, the meals are really, well, to me, they're expensive. Like, this is a teacher budget, right? But a lot of the restaurants have these great side options. Like, the sides were much more impressive than the actual meal. My last day, we went to a restaurant in the Animal Kingdom, and I made a $12 meal out of just sides. And it was the most delicious meal that I had the whole time. So I think it's worth noting, especially if you're on a budget, or if you're just kind of looking to maximize your income flow there. Definitely don't just go right to the menu, order off of sides. Okay, so things that I'm glad that we did. I'm glad that we started out the furthest park and then rode our way back in. So for my family, Magic Kingdom was the furthest from our hotels and from our hotel. And so we always started our day in Magic Kingdom, and then we kind of worked our way back, getting closer and closer to the hotel. Another thing that I'm really glad that we did every single day was we came back to our hotel for lunch every single day. You might be thinking it's a waste of time, but it ended up being exactly what my family needed. Even if it was just for an hour, it was that rest, the air conditioning, sitting down and eating with intention and purpose, making sure that we were hydrated, refilling water bottles, refilling snack containers. Just coming back to that meeting place was really a great idea. Another thing I'm glad that we did is, like I said earlier, we got the park hopper tickets. We also did a multi-day stroller rental. If you are a parent, get the stroller. Get the stroller. My 8-year-old, who is a very active young girl, very active, very fit, does all the sports, does all the things. She also rode in the stroller. At every park, after you enter, you'll see like a stroller wheelchair accessibility station. They all have them, all of them. Some are to the right, some are to the left. You can always ask the person that's scanning you in at that time where it is. When you walk up there, the first day that you arrive, you can either get a single or a double stroller. You can rent a stroller for the longevity of your stay, multiple parks included. So what that means is we get to Magic Kingdom and I rent the stroller for 5 days. I rent a double stroller for 5 days. They give you a really long receipt that you have to keep. Don't lose the receipt. If you lose the receipt, that's the only way they track this. I know it's barbaric, but either way, it's the receipt. That receipt stayed in my fanny pack the entire time, okay? They give you a discount when you rent for multiple days. So we rented a double stroller for 5 days. We would get to Magic Kingdom. I would hand them the receipt. They would give me the double stroller. We leave Magic Kingdom. I return the stroller. We park hop over to Animal Kingdom. I check in, take my receipt to the Animal Kingdom stroller. They give me a double stroller. We return it. I go to Epcot. It's all parks for the longevity of your stay. So when you go and to the very first day, say that you want to do a multi-day stroller rental. And like I said, don't sleep on the double, like, oh, I have a 9-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, they don't need a stroller. If you're out for 10 hours a day, you will be surprised. And then another thing that I'm glad that we did is we went to all the parks with a lot of intention. We gave every single park like a good amount of time at to really kind of take in what was going on. Notable mentions. There's a Magic Kingdom parade at noon at 3 and at 3. I think it's at noon at 3. Check the app. But we had no idea. I had no idea. And this parade was awesome. It was all the characters. We ran into it by complete accident. So just consider like, oh, Magic Kingdom is going to have their big character parade. Like I said, right now it's at noon at 3. I don't know what it's going to be when you go. You can bring everything into the park. Everything that's not dangerous, you can bring into the park. And then using the Lightning Pass while you wait in line to book the next ride. So the next part of this is really just honestly like my full opinions. It doesn't have anything to do with like what you might find interesting, I might not find interesting, and vice versa. But I did think it was like worth noting a couple of things on the second page that are just really interesting little facts. So Magic Kingdom favorites. The Castle and the Fireworks Show is the best at Magic Kingdom, in my personal opinion. In the summer, it doesn't start until 9:20. And let me tell you, it gets so crowded. Like, it is insane. Insane. Some Disney theme hotels will even ask if you want to do like a private lawn viewing for like an extra add-on bonus. Knowing now what I know with how crowded it got and how invasive and how hot and how crazy, I probably would have paid extra to be separated a little bit. We ended up going near the exit because my family is all about quick ins and quick outs. I don't want to be battling with people. So we watched the fireworks literally at the exit door and then bolted to the tram to get home because it was like 10 o'clock at that point. I wish I would have done that differently. I wish I would have taken a longer break that day that we were going to watch the fireworks, maybe let my 4-year-old take a nap, and then not have to rush out because it was very stressful. Lots of people, lots of bottleneck. I wish I would have just watched the fireworks from a place that was more accessible for me to see and not have to hold both of my kids up and then let people leave. And then once people kind of left, then I would have left. For me, the best restaurant was the Plaza. I loved it. I loved the theme. It was just really cool. The best ride, the Peter Pan ride was cool. If I'm being honest with you guys, Magic Kingdom was actually my least favorite park. It was the most crowded, it was the furthest, and it was the most annoying to get to. Of course, it's beautiful, and you've got the castle, and you've got like all the characters and the princesses and all of that. But like once that shock wears off, it was not my favorite. It really wasn't. And then a notable mention here for Magic Kingdom is there's a 3D Mickey Mouse movie, which is called Mickey's PhilharMagic. It's cute. You should definitely go see it. It's really, really cute. Then going to probably one of my favorite parks, which was Animal Kingdom. I did not expect Animal Kingdom to be my favorite. It is a conservation-based park, which I love. I love animals. And so for me, like just learning about the conservation of animals, it was really, really awesome. The safari tour at Animal Kingdom is so cool. It takes about 30 minutes, but it is so worth it. They take you out like all the way out and you're like right there with giraffes and animals, and they come right up to you. It's really, really awesome. We also found some of our favorite food here in Africa in Animal Kingdom. They had a stand with fresh fruit, and they also had our favorite restaurant there, which was called Tiffin's. Just lots of different options, and it was a really beautiful restaurant. The best ride for us, we loved the dinosaur ride. It kind of scared our 4-year-old a little bit, but he also still loved it. A close second favorite ride is Expedition Everest. And the vibe of this park is my favorite. It's very nature focused. It's a little bit more spread out, still crowded, a little bit more spread out. When you walk in, you see this beautiful, and I mean beautiful, the Tree of Life. It's just for my vibe, it is by far, it's probably my favorite. I also, though, I really liked Epcot as well. Epcot is the most spread out of all the parks. So I didn't feel like I was on top of other people. My favorite ride was in Epcot, my favorite ride of all Disney World, and it's called Soarin' Around the World. It's an airplane hangar style ride. And you kind of go up and it's all visual. Like you're not really actually moving a lot, but it's kind of takes you through just different areas of different countries all around the world. Ice cream here in France, there is an ice cream place that we waited 45 minutes for. It's pretty good. I don't know if it's 45 minutes good, but it is pretty good, pretty good. It's just a really cool place to walk around. Like it's, you know, you go through the different countries. So like you'll be walking through, you know, Italy, and then it goes to Germany, and everything is themed. All the food is themed. All the restaurants are themed. All the employees are themed based on their country. Like the ice cream place, for example, since we were in France, like the workers were actually from France and like spoke French. So it was kind of interesting. In Epcot, there's a really cool aquarium, and it's like a Finding Nemo ride. That was a shocker. We were not expecting that. It was really, really, there was a lot of places in Epcot where it was like kind of like museum style, that we did not know about. Like every single ride had like a play area for kids. Did not know that. So that's kind of worth noting, especially if you have younger ones. Some rides in Epcot did not offer the Lightning Pass, so that's worth noting. We really enjoyed a ride called Living on the Land. It's a lot about conservation, and they walk you through a green, or they ride you, rather, you're on a boat, you ride through a greenhouse, which is really awesome. And the fireworks at Epcot were about 9 p.m. in July. Not as good as Magic Kingdom, but still pretty cool. Hollywood Studios was another shocker for me. I didn't expect to like Hollywood Studios, and it was probably my mom's favorite and my husband's favorite. They love Star Wars, so there's Star Wars land there. If you like Star Wars, plan on a full afternoon in that area, because that is cool. I've never seen Star Wars before, and I thought it was awesome. A couple of notable mentions here. There's an Indiana Jones stunt show. The last show was at 4:30. We almost missed it because I didn't know about it. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was super cool. It's like the Indiana Jones movies, they're stunt doubles, and they do like a full performance. It's fun. It's awesome. Another really good show at Hollywood is the Frozen show. Even if you're not into Frozen, the actor and actress that kind of, it's a sing-along, that walk you through it are hilarious. It's good for adults and for kids. Like I had said, Star Wars Land was really, really cool. There's simple fireworks there around 9 o'clock, but it's more of a music show presentation at the end. And then more notable mentions to kind of wrap things up. We talked about the Magic Kingdom parade already, bringing everything into the park. I think when I look back, I wish I would have spent more time in Epcot. I really like the different cultures, and I like the vibe of Epcot and how spread out it was. I wish I would have spent more time there. Another thing is most characters don't walk around. I don't know if it's because we went in the summer and it's hot or what, but we only saw Minnie Mouse, Daisy Duck, and Buzz Lightyear. We did not see any other characters. Everybody else we had to actually book or stand in line to go meet. I'm not sure if that's a time thing because of weather. It's just hot and, you know, they don't want to be walking around or what, but that was something I did not know about. The Epcot space ride can suck it. I got vertigo. Okay. So it's in Epcot. It's called Space something. You choose a green or orange mission. We let our 8-year-old choose the orange mission, and it was a nightmare. My husband and I both got sick after that. So don't do that. And then last, but certainly not least, Disney Springs. Disney Springs is an outdoor food and shopping experience that is not a park. You do not have to pay to go there. There's buses to Disney Springs. It is 10 out of 10. We ate the best at Disney Springs. Best shopping, most cost-effective shopping at Disney Springs. There's live music, there's themed restaurants. You can still make reservations for these restaurants. It's not a park. It's, like I said, it's more of like an outdoor mall, if you will. It is a little bit crowded. because you don't have to pay to get in, I would imagine. And I think a lot of like locals also go there. They've got food trucks there. The best ice cream that we had was there. There is a vegan, plant-based, gluten-free, kosher bake shop there. So if you have dietary restrictions, there is, we got bagels for the rest of the week when we were there. I ate the best at Disney Springs because the restaurants were like more normal restaurants. They had more options for me. We got all of our gear at Disney Springs. It was about 20% less expensive there. I would imagine if I was going to make a guess, 20 to 25% cheaper. And there's bands that play. We got water bottles there, reusable water bottles called Corksicle, which is really cool. It was a really cool experience. I think I wish I would have planned on actually going there for a meal every day, making my way around the parks, hitting up Disney Springs, and then kind of circling back, because there's so much variety there. So I hope this was helpful. I know it was long, but this is just from one teacher to another, or from just somebody who's never done it before and very overwhelmed by the amount of information coming at you. I tried to break it down as best I possibly could, just so and in one spot, because I think that was the hardest part for me, is grabbing from all these different vlogs and blogs and articles. Like, it was just overwhelming and too much. The best thing that I can say is the Disney Experience app. Take your time, get the stroller, visit the hotels often, and have a great time. Really just try to be in the moment as much as you can. Watch your kids' expressions, because I think those memories are going to last me a lifetime of happiness.